Okay, so here are the rails, and here is our show.
Completely off. Completely gone today. What in the world? Derailed. Yay, you're here. Welcome to the CK and GK podcast. Let's get going.
Hello.
Hi. We're glad you're here.
Hello, welcome back, CK and GK.
Yep.
Episode 16, sweet 16.
I 100% skipped our intro. Do you know it yet? Do you know our intro? We pretend to adult. We don't know anything. And now here we go. It's all right. There we go.
Yes, there you go. All right, moving on. So I have Caitlin, author of such parenting books as So You've Run Out of Goldfish and Dinosaurs and You, Mastering the Art of Pretending to Like Paleontology.
It gets even better when your kid starts watching Jurassic Park and now is commenting on all the hybrid dinosaurs that I really don't know and or understand. Oh man. Okay, well, I have you know her, you love her. She's everyone's favorite middle school teacher. She lives in LA with 3 roommates. Who's that girl? It's Jessica Day from New Girl. It's Jenny, you guys. And everyone really does love her. I hope she has her own theme song. Do you have your own theme song? Do you sing it to yourself?
I do have my own personal theme song. It is Dancing in the Moonlight by King Harvest.
Nice.
And besides being my ringtone, like when they make a movie about me, that will be the theme in the movie.
You have a ringtone still? You still have ringtones. It's not the internal ringtone. It's like the external ringtone. So you hear the song.
Not like a ring back. No.
Ring back. I didn't even know the word for it because that's how long it's been since I've heard of that.
Although we do have a mutual friend who was at one point my roommate who did have ringback tones on her phone.
She didn't.
Oh my gosh. Yes,
God love her so
did.
much.
And it was so funny. Like, while you're waiting for this person to answer, here's a song. And it was like classical music.
Oh, that's amazing. I was waiting for it to be something more on brand with our friend because Homegirl loves to dance and I was waiting for it to be a dance song. And speaking of her, we need to tell the story that she told us that relates back to our previous show because it's so good. Friend, I'm just going to name her. Her name is Jordan. She's wonderful. We used to work together. And yes, she was
lived together.
Yeah, roommate. And she's just one of the most happy, sunshiny people. I just adore her. But she gave us a story after our last show and it's hysterical.
So we were talking about the cockroach.
About your roach roots.
And Caitlin says, like, what is the purpose of a roach? Like, why are we having roaches?
Right.
And Jordan told us that there is indeed a purpose for a roach. The San Antonio Zoo has nailed it. The purpose of a roach is to celebrate Valentine's Day. The San Antonio Zoo ran a fundraiser where you could buy a roach, name it after your ex, and then get a video of that roach being fed to one of the animals at the zoo.
It's incredible. It's so genius. They like go in and write your ex's name on this roach and they take a picture of it and send it to you along with the video of the roach being eaten. And at the end of it,
you could also buy a rat.
Ooh.
Or a vegetable. So if you wanted your ex to be eaten by a hippo, don't worry, that can still happen for you.
There are vegan options, just so you know.
Now, if you are interested, the information is still on the San Antonio Zoo's website, and they do have a link to check back for 2023 in case you want to participate in this.
This is amazing. This should be a year-long fundraiser. I love it for Valentine's Day, but like really, people would totally do it all year long.
Right?
Jordan, thank you for that gem. The best part of it is she's like, oh, I know what I want to do with my ex. It's just so great. It made me so happy. So I have some other shout outs. So, one shout out to Jordan. Two, I want to give a shout out to Ariella for joining us on our last
Thank you.
episode. It was really, really fun to have her. She's so well researched and she's just funny people. So, it was really nice to have her here. And then there was someone who went on to iTunes and left us just the sweetest, nicest review that I sent to Jenny. And it made my heart so happy. And the name was It Be Me CJP. And I just love you. I've seen your Instagram posts that are supportive of us, and I saw your review, and it just made my day, and it made Jenny's day. So thank you very much. You are part of the 1,000 listens that we hit. Woo, woo, woo. We hit 1,000 listens on
What's up,
March
4 digits?
1st. I know, right? Amazing. Super exciting. So thank you for your support, and I'm sure you're telling your friends, and we love you for it.
Now, when I told my daughter that we hit 1,000, she says, "How many of them were you, Mom?"
Like 20, all right? Only like
Well, I told her, I was like, I have to listen to this
right.
show.
It's called quality control.
It's like if you're running for office and you don't vote for yourself.
Exactly. You have to do that. There was that. And then the two podcasts I need to shout out. I once again have to give my love to Petals of Support because Mama D is just so, so kind. Every chance she gets, she promotes our show for us, and she's just the sweetest. And I love her show. It's full of just all kinds of love and support for moms who need advice and just really anyone who just kind of needs that motherly tone in their life. It's very sweet. And the other one that's been really, really fun that started giving us some love on Twitter. Sorry, I have a cat who's screaming in the background. Is Florida Men on Florida Man. So if you're looking for something fun to listen to, Florida Men on Florida Man. That's a great show. And they're in my queue. I've listened to like maybe 5 or 10 minutes, but they're in my queue to listen to a whole episode. And I can't wait.
Awesome. Well, it's time for sports.
Okay, let's hear it.
I have 2 things for sports.
Okay.
The first one is Major League Baseball. Stop being so rude.
I want to use a swear word here.
I do too.
MLB on both sides, figure it out. Just figure it out.
Just play nice.
Right.
So now opening day has been delayed 2 weeks.
Which doesn't sound like a big deal, but that already takes the number of games down.
And the Packers were eliminated from football a long time ago. What have we been watching?
You've been watching all kinds of weird sports. What's the one that you learned that was like
Kabaddi.
Yeah.
You know what we're watching at my house right now? I am not even kidding you. The sport that we are watching on a regular basis right now, professional wrestling.
No. Mm-mm.
Yes.
Mm-mm.
This is what's happening in my house right now because we are in a sports hole. And so I need baseball in my life because I can only watch so much of Big Time Becky and Charlotte Flair.
I don't know who those people are, but I'm going to take your word for it. We've had a lot of golf on, but also because MLB isn't on, we've been watching a lot of MLB TV, which is all baseball movies. So it's like A League of Their Own, Rookie of the Year, and Major League, and like all of the fun. No Field of Dreams yet. That doesn't come till later, right before the season actually starts. What's your other sports news?
The other sport news is so good. It's so good. This is the kind of stuff that you cannot make up. Okay. So the Women's World Cup for cricket is in New Zealand this year.
Okay.
New Zealand, who has done a phenomenal job of managing COVID.
Yeah.
Everyone was saying, oh, I'm just going to move to New Zealand. I need to go to New Zealand. This is the place where they're like figuring it out.
Mm-hmm.
Well, they've had some cases kind of climb recently.
Yeah.
And so to help manage this tournament and also their case count, you may bring only 15 players for your cricket team.
Okay.
You must have, I think, 11 players on the field.
Oh,
okay.
That's kind of cutting it close.
Oh, just wait. Okay. So they have made a special rule for the World Cup this year only that if you have 9 players eligible,
okay,
which means you've lost 6
to
COVID,
you may
elect any other 2 people from your organization to play so you can get to your 11.
Any other.
So it might be like the bus driver or the 18-year-old intern whose job it is to take pictures and put them on social media. The physical therapist.
I was going to say the
I
physical therapist. Who's like, okay, you got your pre-wrap on. I'm going to go ahead and put mine on too, and I'll meet you out there.
Yeah, the 2 fill-ins that, may or may not be the team accountant.
Oh my
Cannot be batters or bowlers, but they can play.
Oh my word. This is...
I do not want people to get COVID.
No.
I do not. But I would love for more sports to be like, don't have enough players? Bring whoever you want.
Can you imagine like if that were to happen in like NFL? It's like
right?
Like some idiot on the 50-yard line who's like, me.
Like the trainer who brings out the Gatorade bottles. Like it's now all of
or in college sports and it's
O-line.
like the tiny girl trainers who go, yeah, oh my gosh. Oh, can you even imagine?
I am dying reading this article. And, I just happened to Google, like, what sports is happening in March because, it's not baseball.
And the Olympics are over, so...
And I already talked about that thing with the basketball and the brackets. So... what am I going to talk about?
Thing?
Oh my gosh. I am going to be talking about Women's World Cup cricket for a long time.
That's amazing. Shout out to The Gist. We say it every single episode. If you're not following The Gist on Instagram, you should. But one of the things that I saw was what ski jumpers were doing to kind of warm up a little bit. Okay, now I want you to picture like a set of mall stairs, like in between escalators. You know how there'd be like a set of stairs, right? Right. I saw a ski jumper with like it kind of looked like a yoga mat, but it was arranged onto the stairs so that it was probably more like one of those things that you use if you're in gymnastics vault competition. So the actual vault itself that you jump up onto, it looked like that.
Springy.
Yeah, it looked like that, but it also looked like a yoga mat at the same time. Anyway, this person was on the stairs, got into ski jump position, and had a person in front of them and like Dirty Dancing lifted onto this person. There's a Patrick Swayze person holding up this ski jumper as he's warming up and like kind of letting him go through the motions of how to arrange one's body. And it is the most hilarious post and it makes so much sense. I think the post actually says like things in Olympic Village that just make sense. And sure enough, it's like that you're right. That's exactly what the ski jumpers look like. They're nice and flat and then they jump and they just float through the air. Like Baby did on Patrick Swayze's arms. Perfect. It was amazing. That's my sports news.
Don't put ski jumpers in a corner.
Exactly. I thought it was funny. Oh, goodness. Do you have any gems for this week?
I do.
Okay.
Do. So the first one is I'm texting back and forth with my husband about dinner.
Okay.
And I texted, Abby and I will split a pizza, light cheese, please.
Sounds great.
My friend Jennifer texted me back and she said, I can get the pizza. Where do you want me to order it from?
Oopsies. Wrong person. Wrong conversation. I do that so much. It's really embarrassing.
First off, like she and I have been friends for a long time.
Yeah.
Secondly, I'm telling Abigail this. I'm like, oh my gosh, I sent that text to Jasko instead of to Johnny. What am I going to do? And she goes, what if you really were sending it to her? What if you like really needed a pizza and you were having some kind of mental breakdown and you just reached out to her to bring you a pizza?
It sounds like she was willing to do it. I mean,
like, I was like, yeah, no, she totally bought it. If I was having a breakdown, she was the one to bring me a pizza.
Right. I would bring you a pizza. I'm sure you would bring me a pizza.
I would also bring you a pizza. I would probably start the text with, hey, will you bring me a pizza? Not Abby and I will split a pizza or light cheese, please.
It's like the when Michael Scott is imitating Devil Wears Prada and he's like, steak, bring me my steak. And it's just like a demanding like shout for food. That's what your text feels like. Yeah. And I would bring you Totino's pizza rolls because we know that those are better in a breakdown situation.
Oh, sure.
You need something that's,
right, poppable
when you're having a breakdown because you have to be able to shovel it into your face. Okay.
And then the other one is we were listening to an episode together in the car, and she said to me, Mom, you have got to tell the story about how you accidentally joined a cult. And I was like, you know what? You are right.
Because you
If
haven't done
that-
enough random things in your life, let's add
Oh.
this one to the list.
If this isn't the best story. Okay, so senior year of college.
That sounds about right.
Picture it. Texas A&M.
Yeah, Aggie Land
2006.
senior year.
I am having the quarter life crisis. I don't know what I want to do with my life. I had a professor tell me I'm never going to make it as a teacher, so I dropped my teacher certificate.
Ew.
I am losing my mind. Who am I going to be when I grow up? I saw a sign on a kiosk, and it says meditation. Meet us in the classroom at
Oh no.
8 a.m. on Saturday morning. One of those big lecture halls where there's like 500 seats or whatever.
Okay.
I said, okay, it's on campus. It's in a classroom. It's a sanctioned activity.
Yeah.
And so I said, I'm gonna go to this thing. So it's a Saturday morning, and they have us like spaced out, like COVID style, actually, like more than 6 feet apart, right?
Oh man, you need a lot of space when you're meditating, apparently.
Right. And so we're sitting in the chairs in the lecture hall, and there's a leader. He kind of walks us through a guided meditation, and then there's just some quiet time with everyone in the room. The lights are turned down. It is very relaxing. And it was a great thing to do first thing in the morning on Saturday.
Sure.
I said, okay, I'm going to come back next week.
Yeah.
And the week after. And after I'd been a couple of times, guy comes and talks to me, says, hey, I've noticed that you've come a few times. And I said, yeah, I really like this. It's great. Do you want to meet the master?
Oh no.
He's coming from Houston.
No.
And I was like, sure.
Oh my gosh. I am picturing in Ice Age, the one with the dinosaur, there's like dinosaurs and they have like a fountain of youth, and Jesse J is in it, and so is Jesse Tyler Ferguson, and he plays the goat, or like, no, he's like a llama, and he's like the llama meditative master. That's what I'm picturing in my head.
This is what it is. So he says, he is coming to my house. You can come to my house too. And I was like, okay. Because I'm feeling 22, and why not? All right. And the guy lives in campus housing. So again, same reason that it's safe for me to go to this classroom meditation, I can go to campus housing. It'll be fine.
Yep,
so I get
safe.
there, his wife and kids are there. She like brings out snacks and, drinks, whatever, hanging out. And then he says, okay, we're going to leave now.
No.
So he and his wife and his children leave, and then the master comes.
That's really weird.
The master is dressed head to toe in white.
Of course.
And we are sitting in two chairs facing each other about 4 feet apart. He turns off the lights and he says, now I'm going to send you messages.
This is psychotic.
And we sat there in the dark silently for an hour.
Oh my gosh. I can't.
He sent me messages, and I was so afraid it was the last hour of my life.
I was going to say, my anxiety just like skyrocketed. I feel like Karen and Georgia from MFM would be not happy with you for doing this right now. Stay sexy and do not go to a yoga class at someone's house and meet the master. Nope. You done messed up.
Hey, meditation club on Saturday morning in a classroom, check, safe. Going to some stranger's house, X. Meeting the master, X. Staying at this person's house after he leaves with his wife and children, and you're stuck with some person that you've never met before, and you're sitting in the dark while they send you messages. Don't do that.
No.
I accidentally joined a cult.
You did accidentally join a cult. No, thank you, please.
I super did.
Abby, well done. Getting your mom to tell that story. Speaking of Abby, I have to tell you what she did. Okay,
What?
So a couple of weeks ago, you sent me a message. Hey, call me tomorrow. I have to update you on some stuff in my life. And I went, okay, no problem. And that was on a Thursday. And then that Friday, Sam came home, super sick, had a fever, whatever. So you called me. It wasn't a great time. So I called you back. In that moment, it was not a great time for you. But don't worry. You don't know this story. Kit answered the phone. So Kit answers. And he's like, this is my mommy's phone. And Abby's like, you can hear in the background, like, Kit, what are you doing? Hold on. That's mom's phone. Hang on. Give that to me. And he's like, no, I have it. And she's like, Abby's like, okay, hold on. And she takes the phone and she's like, hi. And I was like, hi, Abby. It's Caitlin. Just let your mom know that I called. And she's like, okay, you want me to take a message? And I was like, no, that's okay. Just tell your mom that I called. And it's like, she's talking to Miss Deborah, which is his daycare provider. And he goes, she's like, yeah, that's what my mom is doing. She's talking to Mr. And I was like, really, it's not a big deal. She'll call me back when she can. It's not a problem. Just let her know that it's okay for her to call back whenever. And then Kit goes, why your phone make that noise? And I was like, what noise is my phone making? And Abby goes, no, it's the noise when the phone vibrates, because the phone was sitting on the seat, and it's that brr, brr noise. And Kit's like, yeah, why that noise was happening? And I was like, oh, that's the sound that the phone makes when it's ringing. And he goes, okay, bye, and just hangs up the phone. All right. I was like, oh, okay, bye. Okay, bye. It's like when you like go to high five someone and then they don't see it, so you're just standing there left hanging. That's totally what it felt like.
Okay, bye.
Yeah, bye. So the other one, I forget who sent it to me. It might have been Ariella and Joey and Brenna, but hi girls, I love you. So I get this message. It's a screenshot. It's a tweet from someone, and the tweet is from Elise Explosion at Elise Explosion. And here's her tweet. So yesterday, as we were driving to the Asian market, we passed a car that said, text for squid facts all across the back. And what do you know? You can indeed text the phone number for a squid fact. So, of course, my child who loves giant squid, and you who also love giant squid.
My phone is in my hand. I am ready.
Okay, so do you remember last week when I said, or maybe it was 2 weeks ago, when I said to you, do you need a squid fact? And you were like, yeah. And then I read you a random
how you
squid.
got it?
Oh, I got it. Yes, this actually does work if you have a child who loves squids or underwater creatures. Or you are a 38-year-old woman who also loves underwater creatures.
Here is the advice we are providing this week. If you have a child who loves squid,
aren't you so glad you came to us for all the important need to know information? Because I mean, really. Anyway, you need the phone number.
Starting a yoga practice. This week, helping
squid
kids
facts.
with squids.
Yeah. I know you want to know the number. Your phone is in your hand, so I'm going to tell you the number.
Squid
Are you ready?
Kids! Squid Kids!
This is real. Okay, I tried it out myself and it works. So the number is 1-833-724-8398. And no joke, you will text it. You will get a squid fact. So again, the number, if you care, is 1-833-724-8398 for some cool squid facts. And thank you to Elise Explosion for putting that information out there, because that's need to know for me and my family. And clearly for Jenny too, because she's not even laughing anymore because she's texting the squid facts number during the podcast.
This is true. I'm sorry, I'm distracted. I cannot wait until I get a response.
It won't take long. I bet it'll happen during the show. Did you get one?
Not yet.
Okay.
Well, you'll know. We went to go visit my parents today. We ordered HelloFresh a few while ago. And I don't know how familiar you are with HelloFresh.
We use Sunbasket.
It's one of the meal. Yeah. It's a meal delivery service, right?
Yeah.
And it is incredible. They are so great. Not sponsored. Super, super good.
Not sponsored, but would like to be.
Dude, I will super partner with HelloFresh. Give me a code. I will get it tattooed on my forehead.
No, you will not. We are a Sunbasket family. We also love Sunbasket.
We forgot to choose our meals.
Oh, no.
It's totally fine. What they said was delicious. But one of them was like a little bit more carby than what we're eating right now. So I told my mom, I was like, hey, do you want this HelloFresh meal? Like everything's there. All you do is like cut it up and cook it. And she was like, yeah, of course I do. So we ran it up to them. And I'm telling my dad, we have 1,000 listens. It's so great. And he was like, and I said, have you listened? He was like, Jen, your mom has told me about what you put in your show.
Oh, no.
And I was like, oh, did you hear the meatloaf story? If you haven't, I'll send you a clip.
My dad listens also. Hi, Daddy, I love you. But he the first time he listened, he goes, it's not really my thing, but I listened for you. And I was like, well, that's very sweet. Like, it's very kind of you. But if you don't like it, like put it on silent and let your phone sit over there in the corner.
That's
And
right.
then you don't
Just
have to
keep
worry about
playing it.
right. Just play it. You don't have to listen. I don't know if my mom listens. I think some of my sisters do on occasion. I don't know if my brother is very into podcasts. Did he know that you told the story about him making music videos or his movies that he makes?
The movies. Oh, but he knows. Like, he's proud of this. Like, I'm proud of this. This is my heritage.
Right. You are proud of it.
Did I tell you about DJ night? Do you know about DJ night? Have we talked about that on the show?
No.
Okay. So DJ night is when my dad would spin records and we would get to pick up the phone and call in requests. Okay.
Spin records is making me think like very like just that kind of spin
turntables
records.
and a microphone. No, he's like playing the DJ. He's like doing the radio thing, and we would be able to call into my dad's radio show and make a request. My mom would like flip the lights on and off, and we would dance like it was strobe lights, whatever. And so my friend comes over to stay the night in 6th grade, and I was like, "Oh, this is a great night for you to stay the night. We're doing DJ night." But she was like, "What is DJ night?"
Yeah.
And I was like, "What do you mean? Like, you don't do this at home?" She was like,
No.
No. Normal people do not pretend to have a radio show in their living room.
Okay, but everybody does when they're 14 and like pretends to like look out and be in a music video and you're looking out the window and there's like the single tear. Everyone did that, right? Please tell me I'm not alone.
But like family of 5 like pretending to call in things, and you know, my dad like making requests, and
yeah, no, that's not something I've ever heard of before.
This song's dedicated to Andy. It comes from Katie. Like, no, that no. So fast forward to school project day in 6th grade, and the project, one of the things that we have to do is invite one parent from our group to come to the event.
Sure.
And so we're like teams of 4, represent somewhere between 4 and 8 or maybe more parents, right?
Sure.
So there's a good likelihood that one of them will be able to come to this event.
Right.
And at this point, my mom was almost full-time volunteer at the school. She was running the library, doing PTA, like da-da-da-da-da. And I said, well, what about my mom? She's here all the time. And they're like, yeah, your mom's here all the time.
Yeah, so maybe choose someone different.
We want to choose someone else. And I said, oh, how about my dad? And this girl who had come over for DJ night, she was like, nah. Her dad makes her mom look normal.
Here's the thing about this. This is why your dad should feel so complimented by these conversations, because you do so many cute things with your family that are so brilliant. This is where it comes from, right? Like all this creative energy totally comes from that. So if he's going to be like, oh, well, I'm embarrassed by the things that you say about me, it's a total compliment, because who else wakes up their 9-year-old daughter to have like midnight dance parties? Like, it's just so great.
And I don't get to be the one who embarrassed my dad. That's my sister when she wrote about him on College Humor and it went viral.
I spent a lot of time on that website. There's a really good chance I've read an article about your dad. That's hysterical.
But yeah, she wrote about him on College Humor. And my dad was like, I do not appreciate finding my stories on the internet.
He didn't find it. Someone sent it to him. Oh man, I love it. I love your dad. He's a nice guy.
My mom says he has a 2-for-1 ticket into heaven.
That's ideal for her.
Right. That's part of why she married him, she says. Oh. Welcome to the Skype a Scientist text line.
Yep.
Type Squid for the Squid Facts.
Did you get your Squid fact?
Yes, I did. It says, welcome to the Squid Facts hotline. Let's start at the beginning. Let's start at the very beginning.
Nice.
Squids have beaks for mouths.
They do. It sounds like we're going to be texting this number pretty regularly. I think you're going to get some good facts.
I'm doing it with my kids tomorrow at school.
Yeah.
I'll be like, guys, you want a squid fact? Let me text for one real fast. In addition to being obsessed with squid facts, I am also obsessed with the spring weather. I don't know if it's here to stay. I'm thinking since it's March in Texas, we might be close, knock on wood.
Yeah, maybe.
But today I took my class outside. It was gorgeous. It was beautiful. And then I'm talking to my husband in preparation of this episode. And I said, Johnny, what am I obsessed with? And he was like, I don't know, texting with Caitlin.
Jealous.
And I was like, you need to get yourself someone to text constantly.
It's true. And now with Squid Facts, you can. Text 1-833-724-8398 for some cool Squid facts.
It's like that episode of Full House where DJ goes into the phone booth and listens to the time lady because she doesn't have any friends to eat with. I'm just texting Squid facts.
Womp
I
womp.
lost my tail.
That was Eeyore.
That's Eeyore, if you guys. Yeah.
And derailed. Okay, so I guess my obsession right now, aside from obviously texting with Jenny, is this other podcast that I can't stop listening to right now. If you like true crime, this one is the Murdaugh Murders. This is Mandy Matney, who is a reporter for fitsnews.com out of South Carolina. This is the story about...
This is the story all about...
I haven't watched that show yet. The new one, I need to. I've heard it's good. Like a dark reboot.
Yeah. And it's like serious.
Yeah. Anyway, go ahead. It was my turn.
Did you just tell yourself to go ahead?
No, I told you to go ahead, but it's my turn. Mandy Matney in South Carolina for fitsnews.com. It's the Murdaugh Murders podcast. It is about the Alec Murdaugh, who is the attorney who is accused of misappropriating like $10 million from the law firm that his grandfather started. His father, his grandfather, his great-grandfather were like the solicitors of South Carolina, which is basically like an AG sort of title or like a DA sort of
title.
Those
are the guys that have to wear the wigs, right?
Obviously. So he's the one who in South Carolina, his wife and son were murdered in June. And then there's a suicide for hire that came out over Labor Day of 2021. There's a boat crash that his son had before he died, that a girl died in that boat crash. And this boat crash basically caused this complete windfall of all of these schemes that Alec Murdaugh is allegedly involved in to come crumbling down. And the first couple episodes are a little chaotic because Mandy Matney is a journalist and she's trying to give you a lot of information about how these pieces are all going to come together. But as it goes on, this is the craziest story. It just gets nuttier and nuttier, and I cannot stop listening. And it's totally digestible. It's like 20 to 30 minutes. Like, it's a completely manageable podcast, and I can't stop listening. So that's my current obsession. Aside from listening to indies, that's my one that I'm binging right now. It's amazing.
Sounds great. Today's assignment is preventative healthcare.
Get thyself healthy.
Here's the deal. I've already told Caitlin this, so she's going to laugh again because it's really funny and also super embarrassing. And you guys are going to laugh out loud, or you're going to say, wait, what? Okay. I went for my first physical in 21 years.
I'm on the wait, what? And then I laugh at you.
Yeah.
Like, who does?
It was the first time in 21 years that I have gone to the doctor when I didn't have something else I needed checked.
Yeah. Do they just like run every single test on you while you're there? Or are they just like, hey, you have pink eye, get out of my office?
Well, and that's it, is I have normally gone because, oh, I'm pregnant. Or
right.
Like, oh, I'm pregnant.
That's not how that works.
I'm pregnant. No, but like, or I think I might have some kind of tapeworm, like whatever it is.
I might have a tapeworm. I suddenly lost a lot of weight. My dresses are fitting better, and I don't know why.
What is bringing me to go see a doctor when there's nothing wrong with me? Most people, that's just being human. Like, oh, that's what I'm going to do. I'm just going to go. But for me, my husband was like, look, Jen, I do not want you to die. So you need to go.
That's not funny.
Get a physical. No, he was like, you need to go get a physical.
Because I don't want you to die. How thoughtful.
Yes, I do not want you to die either. But if one of us has to go, you're insured for a lot more. So, So here's the deal, friends.
Hold on, wait. Before you keep going, my friend Brenna told me the funniest story today. Well, probably not funny to her. My friend Brenna is pregnant, and when you are gestating people, it takes a lot of energy to do this. And there's also pregnancy-induced insomnia, right? So like, plus she has 2 boys. So she's tired.
growing an eyeball and still taking care of 2 fully developed humans.
Yeah, exactly. Her husband this morning gets up, goes to the gym. He's like, "Why are you awake right now?" She's like, "I just never went to sleep. I'm having pregnancy insomnia." And he's like, "Oh, okay." And he gets home later in the day, or he looks at her at some point later in the day and he's like, "I know. I'm so tired too." And she was like, "You guys, if looks could kill." I was just like, I'm sure he needs to read the room better, right? Oh man, with a comment like that, who needs death stares? Just take the chicken knife and chuck it right at him. That's a little harsh, but a female jury would understand.
Yeah.
Speaking of being insured more, just make sure you have a female stacked jury and you're good to go.
Right. Oh, yeah. You said he was tired when you were pregnant? Okay.
Yeah, just dating a human people and you're like, I'm tired too. Love you, Josh, but
Yeah.
no. So your husband doesn't want you to die.
My husband doesn't want me to die. So I said, okay, I will go to the doctor. Usually my excuse for not going to the doctor is it's really hard to get time off as a teacher.
Yeah.
Except for like summer break.
Yeah.
And then I try and procrastinate it. I am afraid to go to the doctor because I do not want to be diagnosed with high blood pressure. And for some reason, there is a part of me that's like, dude, you can't have high blood pressure. You're only 38. Well, guess what? I have high blood pressure and I'm only 38. And the only way I'm going to live to be 48, 58, 68, 78 is to manage my blood pressure.
Exactly.
So I go to the doctor and my blood pressure is 150 over 108.
That's practically having a stroke.
This is correct. Normal is 120 over 80.
I'm so glad you went to the doctor.
But my doctor is just like this amazing woman. And she was like, so we got to talk about your blood pressure. And I'm like, yeah, I know. And she says, so here's the medication that I'm going to put you on. It's 1 pill a day. And you'll come back in a month and see how it's working. And maybe we can taper you off or maybe we need to add more. But that's just what we're going to do.
Awesome.
And that was it. So friends, if you are worried about the doctor over managing you or shaming you or making you feel awful for something that you may have caused yourself, because let's be real, there's a lot of connection between blood pressure and weight.
Right.
I was really concerned that I was going to walk out of there hating myself. And instead, I felt empowered and supported.
That's amazing.
So go get your checkup.
Yeah.
Here's the deal. If you have health insurance in the United States, there are several types of visits that are federally mandated to be covered.
Really?
Now,
federally mandated.
Federally mandated. And if you have health insurance in the United States, according to healthcare.gov, there are a half a dozen things that your health insurance should cover.
Okay.
You should be able to get screened for alcoholism as part of your insurance.
Yeah.
If you need aspirin for heart management, that should also be covered. Blood pressure, not the treatment of it, but the screening for it should be covered. Cholesterol should be covered. Colonoscopy between the ages of 45 and 75 covered. Now,
interesting.
This is periodically, right? Your health insurance does not need to pay for you to have 7 colonoscopies a year. And if you do want to, let's talk about the therapy that also needs to be covered.
Your face. I wish people could see this.
Your insurance should cover you being screened for diabetes, hepatitis, HIV. Tons of immunizations should be covered.
Yeah.
Including your Tdap, tetanus, whooping cough,
diphtheria and all that stuff. Yeah.
all those other things. I hesitated because I knew the T and the D and the P, but I'm guessing the A stands for and because I can't think of what it stands for.
Isn't it tetanus? No.
Diphtheria and
pertussis.
Meanwhile, anyone with any healthcare benefit is yelling at their radio right now.
Their radio? Are they streaming it through their radio?
They're streaming it through their car stereo. All of these things. Screening for STIs, tuberculosis, all of those things are supposed to be covered as preventative care. And then specifically, if you are a woman, there's other things that should be covered. Folic acid supplements while you are pregnant should be covered by your insurance.
What? I didn't know that. That would have saved
Folic
me some
acid is
decent
very
money.
important in the forming of spinal cord.
And the tissue that surrounds the spinal cord and like brainstem.
Right. And so the federal government recognizes how important that is in the development of the baby. So they are telling you that folic acid should be covered if you're pregnant. Your gestational diabetes screening should be covered by your insurance.
That's the worst screening ever. Mammograms are supposed to be covered, right?
Mammograms.
Does that mean that OB and GYN visits are also like a yearly one is covered?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. And so these are all of the screenings that are covered. Your annual exam with your primary care provider, also covered. And a well woman visit is also covered.
Right.
Now, I am checking in for this physical with my doctor that I do have a relationship with.
Yeah.
Okay. This is the doctor that I found on the internet during COVID because we were on lockdown and I was depressed.
Yeah.
And I recognized that I needed some help.
Yes.
And so over telemed, she talked to me and prescribed me antidepressants.
Amazing.
We went through several cycles with different medications, different dosages, on and off, this, that, and the other. And finally found the med that works for me. She said, at some point I'd love to meet you IRL. And I'm like, yeah, that would be so fun.
That's amazing that she said IRL.
So
love her.
So I am checking in and I am meeting with the nurse and she's, taking her little notes, doing everything that she needs to do. And she turns to me and says, would you also need a pap smear and a breast exam while you're here? And I was like, that would be great.
Get it all done at the same time, girl.
So she looks at me and she's, we don't normally have women react that way. Most people are not that excited to have cells scraped off their cervix, but yes, we can offer that service today. She was able to complete the well woman part
of your PCP visit. Yeah, that's really nice.
Which was amazing.
Yeah, get it all done.
The first time I meet her, she got to meet all of me.
I mean, it's nothing she hasn't seen before. Let's be real clear. But yes, she did get to meet every bit of you.
She did. Your dermatologist once a year, your health insurance should cover.
That's super important because you have fair skin. I also have very fair skin, and I have, I'm the redhead. The redhead burns. I've never tanned, and I have freckles everywhere. And freckles are sun damage, in case you did not know. Cute as they look, you have all these girls on TikTok using hairbrushes to like put freckles on their face with like brow powder and stuff. And I'm like, girl, I go out in the sun and they just show up. That said, an annual screening for me is really important for my dermatologist. Actually, my dad had skin cancer not too long ago. And thankfully he went in and he had Mohs surgery and had it taken out. But like, that's really important to be doing that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's a really good thing.
I had a mole removed, a huge one.
Really?
Yeah, they were able to get it and all the parts around it, but they were like, yeah, this one's pretty bad. Let's get it out of here.
Yeah, let's get it out of here.
Now, you should see the dentist twice a year.
Yeah, I do that. Dentist office are very aware that what they're doing is going into your mouth. To be fair, I don't think I've ever been to my dentist's office and seen my dentist's face for more than, 3 or 4 minutes at a time because they are in your mouth all the time anyway. Right. I think the only difference now is that they've added like a surcharge for more protective equipment, right? Yeah, go see a dentist. That's important. Oral health is really important to the rest of your body's health. They can kind of take a look at your mouth and go, you're pretty healthy internally. That is a big deal. And if you haven't been to the dentist in a while, maybe now's a good time to schedule an appointment.
I love going to the dentist.
Do you?
I was so afraid to go to the doctor.
Yeah.
But I love going to the dentist. First off, my dentist has this amazing poster of Jerry Seinfeld from 1993 hanging right across from the chair. Secondly, when my teeth have been cleaned, I can run my tongue along the inside and count all the individual teeth.
Nice.
I love that.
That's hard.
I have stalagmite teeth. Like I get plaque like nobody's business. So getting my teeth scraped, it's so great.
See, now I don't like going to the dentist because I have sensitive teeth. And so anytime they're scraping, it really hurts. But I also get that like sealant that they put on your teeth. Then I don't have any mouth pain or tooth sensitivity for like months after that. But I do think that's pretty cool.
You should see the optometrist every 2 years, even if you do not have vision issues. If you
Mm.
do and you have vision insurance, it should cover one checkup a year.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Your eye insurance, whatever that, if it's through your medical or whatever, should also cover if you need corrective lenses of some sort. They will either cover glasses or contacts for a year. So that's something that's really good to think about as well.
I was surprised to see that the recommendation is to see the optometrist every 2 years, even if you do not have vision issues. As you've heard before, I have been wearing corrective lenses since I was 17. No, younger than that,
Yeah, I was younger.
Mr. Kraft. And both my parents wear corrective lenses.
Yep, mine too.
So, like, I just grew up in a house where, like, going to the optometrist is, like, part of what you do. They recommend that you should see one every 2 years, even if you don't do that.
So my
Um,
husband had never been to an eye doctor until we were out of college and we were dating at this point, and he takes my glasses and puts them on his face and basically commandeered them when he was like, oh my God, I can see leaves on trees and stuff. Yeah, he didn't wear glasses at all until he was in his 20s.
Oh my gosh.
Can't find him without him, but I think the last time I saw him without his glasses, like awake and moving, was like on our wedding day. He just always has glasses on, and you would never know because he didn't wear them at all when he was younger.
That is so crazy.
If things don't look the way they should, steal a friend's glasses and see what happens, and then decide that you need to go to the eye doctor.
At your annual physical, here's what
Mhm.
you can expect.
Ooh, this is good.
First, you will probably have to fill out some background information about your health history.
For Jenny, it was her entire health history from the time
Right.
that she was 15 onward.
Yeah. My doctor was like, wait, what? You don't go to the doctor? You have all of these records. I was like, yeah, but something was wrong with me every time.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't come for fun. But now I do. You can expect a physical exam, right?
Yeah.
The doctor is actually going to listen to you breathe and your heart, and check your ears, check your eyes, see how much you've grown, or whatever that line is from Doc McStuffins. They're going to check you for depression. They are going to consult with you about what annual screenings you still lack. Like,
Mhm.
hey, when's the last time that you had a colonoscopy? Are you due for a mammogram? Do you need a cervical cancer screening? They'll run tons of blood work. And if you are in a place where you can receive a vaccine, they will offer you flu shot or Tdap or whatever vaccines you may be due for, including COVID vaccine.
Mhm. They may
Okay.
also ask you to fast before your appointment if they're going to be running blood work. So if you can schedule it for the morning, if you're someone who gets really hungry, it would be a really good idea to schedule it for then, because then you can get
Right.
your blood work and then go eat right after.
I was nervous as a long-tailed cat in a room full of rocking chairs, having not been to the doctor in 20 years.
That was a very interesting metaphor you just used. Nervous as a long-tailed cat in a room full of rocking chairs, in case
Yeah.
y'all missed it.
How do you find the doctor that you love?
It's a good question.
This is the hardest question, right?
Mm-hmm.
I do not know that I would have been brave enough to go in if I didn't have the doctor who said, hey, do you want to meet IRL?
Yeah.
The way you find the doctor that you love is you're not afraid to fire another doctor.
That's a really good point.
That is the only advice that I can give you. We have talked numerous times about using your network, right? Talk to your friends about Botox. Talk to your friends about finding a yoga studio. Talk to your friends about finding a doctor. Use the websites that grade doctors.
Mm-hmm.
Read the doctor's bio. They
Mhm.
are posted somewhere,
Mm-hmm.
right? Even if this doctor just happens to be on LinkedIn, like you might be able to read something about them. But the best piece of advice I can give you is if you don't love the doctor, you don't have to see that doctor again.
Right.
And it's okay to not love them. It's
Right.
okay.
Right.
It's okay to say, you know what? I don't want to continue with this practitioner. I want to see someone else. And you can see someone else at the same clinic. It's not like switching hairdressers. It's okay.
The other piece of this is sometimes you may like your doctor, but also feel like your doctor may or may not be acting in your best interest in that moment. So one piece of advice that I got fairly recently that I loved was if you request a certain type of screening and your doctor says, no, I don't think you need that, you are within your right to say, I would like you to document in my chart that I asked for this particular screening and you said no. And you will probably see that doctor change their tune in that situation. And that way you have asserted yourself and you may actually have a shift in the relationship between yourself and that doctor. And if you decide that you don't want to have to assert yourself again, then you fire that doctor.
Yeah.
But in the meantime, it's noted in your chart, and that chart goes with you to the next doctor.
It's totally fine.
It's also fine to ask for pain medication. Some procedures don't feel that great, especially lady doctor procedures don't necessarily feel that great. It's okay to ask.
Most people are not cheering when they find out that they can have a pap smear.
Right. No, they're not. That is one of the least uncomfortable ones, right? Like if you've ever had an IUD put in or you've had some sort of cervical biopsy or whatever, those are painful. That's like taking a chunk out of an orange with a pimple popping tool. It's not a joke. So you are allowed to ask for pain medication. Advocating for yourself doesn't have to just be firing your doctor. It can just be speaking up for something like that in the moment.
If you want to bring someone with you, for most appointments, you can. Call the clinic first because some COVID protocols are asking people not to bring guests.
Sure.
If you are nervous and you want to bring someone with you, you can. It's also nice to have another set of ears in the room. Just call ahead and make sure that it's okay. And if you want to, you can talk through what your questions are going to be with that accountability buddy. My husband is laughing at me saying accountability buddy because I stole it from South Park.
You should leave that in.
Anyhow, you can talk through your questions ahead of time so that person can be like, oh, but weren't you going to ask about? Oh, yeah.
You can also make a note of it. Put it in your notes app. Make it be a note that's in the appointment that you have in your phone, right? Like so that it pops up when you are about to head to your appointment and ask those questions.
So here is the question that I asked my doctor during my physical.
Okay.
She is doing the observation part of the exam, right? Like she's like listening, taking measurements, doing all of those things. And at one point she asked me, well, how is your bowel health?
Nice.
And I said, well, I need to ask you. I've been having some trouble with flatulence and it smells really terrible.
Yeah, Kit put his mask on when you did that.
Kit put his mask on. And she looked at me, straight face, not embarrassed at all, and says, it really comes down to the food that you eat, and probably you have an intolerance of that food.
Interesting.
She said you can go on an elimination diet or you can do one of those tests, but it probably has to do with the food that you're eating. And she did not laugh when I asked, why do my farts stink? She did not roll her eyes. She did not say, excuse me, like, what are you asking me? She made me feel normal for asking this question.
Yeah. Listen, some things matter. Farts stinking, that can matter. I get it. But see, what I love about that story, aside from the fact that we're talking about farts right now, is that she made you feel completely normal and comfortable. Like you're not supposed to use Q-tips. And mine knows that I use them. And I've been way better about using them lately because I've seen some horrible videos about people with ear pain from Q-tip usage. But I feel embarrassed when I feel like my ears are not, quote, clean because of my lack of Q-tip use as I try to like wean myself off of them. She was like, that's supposed to be there. I'm used to it. It's okay. I should be seeing earwax from your ear.
Normal.
It's normal. If it bothers you, you can like clean the outside of your ear, but you don't need to clean the inside. Like it's completely normal and they've seen it all. So just ask the question, even if it's scary to ask the question. That's why it's written on your phone and you just read it.
Right. I have to switch gears.
Okay.
Because you talked about ear pain.
Uh-oh.
And I have to tell you the story of my sister and ear pain.
Yes, do it.
Okay. So when she was 16 years old, she woke up in the middle of the night with her ear really hurting, so much so that she was crying. And 16-year-olds crying from pain, it's got to be a lot.
Yeah. It's a
she
big
goes
deal.
in and she wakes my mother up in the middle of the night. My ear is hurting so much. This is so terrible. My ear is just, it's on fire. It hurts so badly. And tears are streaming. It's just awful.
Yeah.
My mom looks in there with a flashlight. She says, I don't see anything. Let's try cleaning it out with peroxide.
No.
And so my sister lays down on the floor. They put some peroxide in. If you haven't done this before, like peroxide, when it mixes with anything organic, something that comes from your body, it bubbles up. It causes quite a reaction. And so she is squealing in pain, writhing on the floor, yelling as it's bubbling. And she's just crying and screaming like, this is so terrible. And then a calm comes over the room. And she's, okay, I'm all right now. The pain has subsided. It's still sore, but it's not piercing anymore.
Oh my gosh.
So she goes back to bed. My mom says, let's go see the doctor tomorrow.
Yeah.
So they go to the doctor, they examine it and say, yeah, I think maybe you have some kind of wax buildup or something. Maybe it was shifting in the night and caused you some pain. Here are some drops. Use them for a week and come back in a week and we will flush your ear out and get all that stuff out of there.
Yeah.
And so she has no pain for the week. She's doing the drops. She goes in and first the tech or the nurse is looking in her ear and says, "Excuse me."
Oh no.
And she
Oh
walks
no.
out.
Oh no. Oh no. Oh
She
no.
comes back in with forceps, tweezers that are like, I don't know, a foot long,
Yeah.
puts them in my sister's ear and pulls out a dead beetle. It had crawled inside her ear that night and the peroxide had killed it and it had been in her ear dead for a week.
Oh my goodness.
My sister's afraid of bugs now, understandably.
I would be afraid of them too. I'd be wearing earmuffs to bed every night. Are you kidding? Oh my gosh.
Now, as the good older sister, I asked her, "Did you keep the beetle?"
You're such a nerd. You're like, I wanted to examine it for my
Yeah.
entomology
Yeah,
class.
She was like, "No, I didn't keep it."
I really want to do
the
that
memory
thing.
of it.
Right. I want to do that thing where they do flush your ear out that you can like see on TikTok where there's like people who are going in and cleaning it out with one of those. It looks like a water pick. I want to have that done to my ears.
I want to have it done to my intestine.
A
colonic.
It's called a colonic. Yeah.
Yes, I want to have a colonic.
If you've ever had a colonic, please just let us know.
Yes, could that be a topic on the show?
That would mean we'd have to go get one.
I could go get one.
If you're going, I have to go too.
Oh my gosh, let's get colonic.
What's the line of the Nutty Professor? I'm thinking about getting my colon cleaned out.
Wow, here we go. So we're so classy.
Okay, so I do need to book a primary care physician. I need to book lady health appointments.
Unless your PCP can also provide those services. I asked my doctor, I said, now since we're doing these procedures now, is there anything at my Well Women visit that I would still need to do?
No.
And she said,
not
no,
if
you
everything
can cancel that appointment. She said,
Yeah.
now, if your cervical screening comes back abnormal, I'm going to ask you to see a GYN.
Yeah.
But for right now, you only need a pap smear every 3 years at your age and your reproductive journey. And as long as it comes back normal, you don't need to see a gynecologist right now.
That's really nice.
My primary care physician, again, my journey with her started with, hey, I'm not doing well in lockdown. I need help.
Mm-hmm.
Continued when I said to her, and I think I need some kind of rescue medication. Because when I get into one of these crying, let's be real, panic attacks,
Yeah.
I need something to help me calm down. And she said, okay,
Yeah.
let's work on that too. This woman is beautiful. Like she's just so kind and so responsive. Also, I mean, she's not giving me pills left and right. Like she's like, okay, let's try this together and see what it does.
Mm-hmm.
And even with the blood pressure medication, she's like, you got to come back within a month. We got to see if it's working.
Mm-hmm.
So she is building in accountability and not just here, pop another pill. But she's also saying, here's the problem. Let's tackle it together.
Yeah, I love that. That's her job. That's the way it should be done. If it's not being done like that, then something's not right.
Then fire the doctor because there's so many more out there. And it's okay if the doctor that I love is also the doctor that you did not love.
Absolutely. Everybody has a different relationship with their doctor and everyone wants a different type of bedside manner. And so it's okay to completely say, you know, I understand why you liked that person, but they just weren't for me.
It's not
totally
working for me. And that's okay.
Okay. So go book those appointments. You can find us on Instagram and on Twitter, and we'll make sure to have all the links for some good preventative health information on our show notes. You can be able to check them out there. We'll also include a link to the Murdoch Murders podcast, to the Florida Men on Florida Man Twitter page, as well as Petals of Support. Oh, and we'll post the number for Squid Facts just in case you missed it during the show.
Oh, yeah. Okay, make good choices.
And text for Squid Facts and use your gift cards. Bye.
Cephalopods have been on Earth longer than trees.
Hey friends, thanks for listening to the CK and GK podcast. Find us at CK and GK podcast on Instagram and Twitter, and rate, review, and subscribe on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Good Pods, or anywhere else that you pod. See you next time.